Good evening, everybody. How you all doing? How you doing? How you doing? Good evening. Good evening. Hey, I know not Pastor Walker, Coach Keon here, and we are here live now, just like Pastor Walker does. Y'all go ahead and show me some love right now. Say good evening to me. Come on, let me see you. Let me see what you got. Who we got here in the chat? Who we got? Who we got? Miss Ware. Good evening. Good evening. Miss Gamble. Good evening. I know a lot of y'all by faces and some of you all by name. Good evening, Miss Ruby, Miss Lynette, Miss McCall, Miss Ware. Good evening, Miss Rhodes. Good evening. Good evening, you all. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, Brandon. Miss Nelson. Good evening. Miss Copeland, good evening. Good evening to you all. Good evening. You all, I'm so used to Zoom, and now I'm on this platform here. When I tell you from Zoom to Restream, that's a whole different ball game right here. But I'm loving this. Good evening, you all. Good evening, Philia. What's going on? How we doing? Good evening, Miss Washington. Nicole, Ms. Lawson, good evening. Good evening to you all. I'm gonna say good evening to everybody. So I just want you all to know I'm gonna say good evening and make sure I tell everybody good evening because my mama told me you speak to people when they speak back to when they speak to you. So I'm saying good evening, Miss Rollins. Good evening, Miss Brittany. How you doing? Good evening, Miss Mary, Shamika. Good evening to you all. Good evening. Good evening, y'all. I'm so excited about this. And this has been something that's in the works here. This month is Mental Health Awareness Month. And that is something that I believe within myself that has been something that we don't normally talk about, especially in our community, because one of the biggest things that we try to do is push through and press our way through, and we say things of keep going and all those things, but not really taking time to actually sit down with ourselves and take inventory of ourselves and say, hey, something may be wrong. Something may be wrong. And once again, I'm Coach Keon. I am the health and wellness coach of New Home. So once again, I'm excited for those who don't know me. You'll see me probably at 8 o'clock service, early bird, and I'll be sometimes at 10 o'clock, but I'm the 8 o'clock service person. I go at 8 o'clock service, but I also, just to kind of give a little advertising as well, we do fitness classes here every fourth Saturday in the morning, 9:30, and we're going to start in June Monday class as well in the afternoon. So stay tuned for that as well. But on today, you all, I'm not going to prolong the time. Thank you all once again for coming in. Once again, I'm excited about this, and there may be some hiccups because, like I said, Restream is a little bit different for me, but we're still going to go through. You all, I have the honor of bringing in one of my friends here. We went to school together, and I talked with her mom, and she's now a doctor, and it's been great just seeing her journey as the years have gone by. And she's here to talk to us about mental health and just how we need to be aware. And you all, one of the biggest things that I see in my community, as far as the health and wellness, we think that eating right and exercise are the only things that gets us healthy and gets us in shape. But you all, it starts here. It starts here. It starts with the mind. It starts with the mind. So I'm going to bring her in. But first, I want to give an introduction about her. Her name, I call her Tan. So I'm going to say Dr. Tan, Tandria. But Dr. Tan Elmore is a graduate of Auburn University with a Bachelor of Arts degree in psychology and a Master of Science in counseling psychology with a concentration in community agency counseling from Troy University. Dr. Elmore received a doctorate in education from North Central University. She is a certified school counselor, a licensed professional counselor, and a national board certified counselor. Dr. Elmore's professional experiences include working as an outpatient substance abuse therapist, a behavior interventionist in alternative education, a therapeutic foster care worker and supervisor, and a career counselor for high school students. In 2012, she founded Project to Uplift, a nonprofit 501c3 organization that uplifts youth and their families through social emotional workshops, community service, and community outreach. Coupled with her passion to help others in educational goals, she decided to begin working in private practice at New Vision Counseling Center, LLC. Her mission is to help clients to gain mental and emotional wellness. And as a therapist, she is committed to the field and advocates for physical and mental health for all, but focuses on marginalized communities and cultures that have stigmas surrounding mental health services. Dr. Elmore expresses her desire to uplift and empower the community through professional and volunteer work. And then Dr. Elmore is a member of several professional and civic organizations: Alabama Counseling Association, American Counseling Association, Chi Sigma Loda, I hope I'm saying that right, the International Counseling Academic and Professional Honor Society, which is the Atlanta chapter, and then Junior League Montgomery and Emerge Montgomery Torchbearer Leadership Class. So what I need for you all to do, my new home family, I need you all in the chat to welcome Dr. Elmore. So let's welcome her with hearts. Say, hey, Dr. Elmore, welcome Dr. Elmore in, and let's show her some love. Come on, y'all, show her some love, show her some love, show her some love, show her some love in here. Yes, I got to see if they're going to show you some love, Dr. before we move on. Okay, we seeing you. We see. They saying hey, and Dr. Elmore, and hey, welcome Dr. Elmore. So how you doing, doctor?
I'm doing well. How about yourself? And good evening to everyone. I saw someone tag my dad too.
Oh, dad's in here. Oh, I need to be on my best behavior now. So Dr. Elmore, we're here because mental health awareness, and that's Awareness Month for the month of May. And I did not want this month. First of all, thank you. Thank you. You are one busy lady, and I understand that this time is definitely something that I don't want it to be wasted. And I thank you for your time. I thank you for giving us your time and your expertise in this particular field here. So just thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to go ahead and get started, you all. Somebody already said that they didn't mention that you are the best, you're the member of the best sorority on earth. And I'm gonna stop looking at the chat because they're gonna have me saying and doing all kind of stuff here tonight. So, but I do want you to help us tonight, because once again, in the church realm, we can become we can become mighty in our walk and mighty in our faith, and really not looking at the groundwork that we need to do for ourselves. And so I wanted us to just go from the basics and just talk about what your definition of mental health is and what do you think it means to you.
I'm glad that you said that, because it's two things that you said in the introduction. You mentioned that you talked about your fitness classes and things like that, and so we focus on getting a six-pack. We focus on getting snatched. We focus on our spiritual journey, but we don't focus as much on our mental health. We put that on the back burner. And so I always tell people, the same way that you schedule your doctor's appointments, your yearly, your 6 months, whatever the case may be, you need to be just as intentional about your mental health. And so just simply put, mental health is, our psychological, our psychosocial, and our emotional well-being. And we don't necessarily realize how much it impacts our everyday life, and how everything kind of works together full circle: our physical health, our mental health, and our spiritual health.
That's good. That's so good. I was actually listening to a message this morning, and just understanding how normally when we label a thing, if we say what comes first in our life, some people will say their faith, and then they'll say their family, and then they'll say other things. And I was listening to a licensed counselor this morning, and they were saying how, and which shocked me, they were saying, well, that can be out of order when you put your faith first, and then you put your family next, and he said, what about your nervous system? Because if your nervous system is off, which is your peace, that's where you gain your peace. If your nervous system is off, everything else becomes almost chaotic. And so when it comes to that, I guess my question now is, what do you think causes mental health problems? What are some of the things that you would say that cause mental health problems?
That's not I guess a cut and dry.
And right.
So, there are several factors that can play a part. But simply put, just neglecting our mental health, and as you stated before, trying to push through. And we see that more in our community because, that's just what we've always had to do, push through. But we're, there's the new term now, the new phrase, being in our soft era. A lot of us equate being vulnerable as being weak. And so it's really the exact opposite. It takes a lot of courage and strength to be vulnerable, which is, when you told me, what you kind of wanted me to focus on, you said one of the challenges. And that's really one of the challenges that we have been made to think that it's not okay to be vulnerable. Wow. And so some people think that going to counseling means that you're weak, or that, you're not strong enough to handle life. And life's, but it's, like I said, it's the exact opposite. And we have to be transparent, and we have to be authentic, and not only with the therapist, but with ourselves.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, y'all, I need you all to put in the chat here. I need everybody to put in the chat. Your weakness is your strength. Put in the chat. Your weakness is your strength. You don't have to have the cape on all the time, you all. You don't have to have the cape on all the time. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to say I need help. It's okay. Those things are not, y'all, this is so good already. This is good. This is good. This is your strength. Your weakness is your strength.
What you view as your weakness. What you view as your weakness is your strength.
Say it again.
What you view as your weakness is your strength.
That's good. Talk a little bit more about that. What you view as your weakness. What do you mean?
Yeah. So to me, when I hear your weakness is your strength, is we're saying that, it is in fact that, being weak, but it's not being weak, it's being strong, because, anyone can, walk around with a mask, and a lot of us do. A lot of us were wearing masks before COVID ever started. Yeah. I tell people all the time, there are a lot of dressed up pigs. And what I mean by that is if you put makeup on a pig, it's still a pig, right? And so, in speaking, I hope y'all invite me back, but if not, I'm going to tell the truth.
Talk.
Okay. But, we take a lot of pride in our appearance, our physical appearance. Getting our hair done. I took my braids out last night, but I purposely did not come with my hair together with the clothes I wore to work today. I purposely did that because the thing about it is we spend so much time on our physical appearance. And I'm not saying, just go out here looking like, as they say, who did it and what for. However, we have to be just as intentional about what we look like on the inside. And so, how comfortable would we be if we were turned inside out? A lot of us would probably.
Whoa, stop. Okay, my bad. Wait, whoa, ooh. Okay, say that again. Say that again, please. How
if we had the ability to be turned inside out, what would we look like, and how comfortable would we be being exposed?
Good gracious.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You know, we can put on the Gucci, the Prada, the Polo and all that, and we look real good. But what do we look like on the inside?
I'm writing notes because this. How comfortable are you being exposed? Goodness.
Yeah.
How comfortable are you being exposed? Okay, I I'm about to call you Tan. Doctor, you throw
That's fine.
you throwing some stuff out there already here. We're
Good.
seeing in the chat, grooming our mind. How do you approach getting someone help? Let's look at that because I think the thing that you're saying and the thing that I keep coming back to is I believe the enemy wants us quiet. He
Mm.
does not want us to communicate the fact that we
Mm-hmm.
need help.
Mm-hmm.
He does not want us to say anything about what's going on the inside. And let's be honest, the things that we don't verbalize come out in our actions.
Yes.
When we don't start talking it out, we start acting it out.
Correct.
And so a lot of times our mental our mental awareness is there, but we don't give it attention enough, so it comes out in our actions. Whether it's, and let's be honest, whether it's violently, whether it's verbal abuse, or whether it's throwing something, whether it's going to work and just upset, whether it's road rage, whether it's anything,
Alcohol,
alcohol,
drugs, sex.
all of,
Let's just,
yes,
real.
yes,
Let's be
all of
real.
those things.
Yeah.
It's feeling this is good because it's feeling what we're doing here. We're saying we're crying out for help, but without actually crying out for help.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess the question is, how do we, y'all, I'm so excited. This is okay. Man, this is good. How do we get somebody, and I saw it in the chat, how do we get somebody else help for something like this? What do we do, because we know someone else is dealing with this, but definitely don't want to talk about it? And like you said, it's big in our community because we've been climbing up the rough side of the mountain, and we get up that rough side of the mountain and we want to get rewarded for that. But sometimes we got to look back down and say, who told us to climb that mountain? It wasn't meant for us to even climb it. It was meant to us to speak to it. But that's a whole nother subject. But how do we get people? How do we get someone else help? How do we get ourselves help?
Okay, I'm glad you said that because, people are always comfortable about asking for help for other people.
Yes. Yep.
But only other people need help. You need help too. People, one of the stigmas is that I'm crazy if I go to counseling. And I say you're crazy if you're not. And that's a play on words. But so I have two answers to that question. One thing that I realized is that, people are always watching us, right? Whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. And so even as a therapist, when I became comfortable talking about, hey, that I go to therapy, more people were drawn to me to say, hey, can you give me some referrals on, I need a therapist. So one part of that answer is creating a safe space for people to be able to ask you for help, or even being able to receive it. Because see, that's the other part. You can send people to therapy all day for whatever the reason is. But if they're not in a place to do the work and to receive what's being said by the therapist, it's dead, just like everything else. The other part to that is, how do you get people help? We shared a few links. Oh, I shared a few links with you, and we'll probably share that a little bit later, for some resources for people to reach out to therapists, because I get people that come in, and the other reason that I dress like this is because it's important for you to feel comfortable with your therapist. So I didn't want to be all prim and proper like some of y'all might come to church. It might not be y'all, might be just in my church, but all prim and proper in your nice, best Sunday suit. I want it to be comfortable, because when my clients come in, that's how I need them to be. You know, I have some that come in wearing their workout clothes and like, oh, I'm sorry for my appearance. No, this is no judgment zone here. You know, and we're not focusing on your physical appearance. We're focusing on the mind. And so, but my shirt does have a message in case y'all go to therapy. That's what it says. So if you don't listen to anything I say, you can remember my shirt. It says go to therapy. But and I see that I think Deacon Rollins, he says remove pride. That's the biggest thing that hinders us, because again, it goes back to, well, what are people gonna think? Well, first of all, nobody knows you go to therapy unless you tell them. You know, and then they probably need to go to therapy too. And so the other part is we have to stop worrying about what people think, because if you go to therapy or you don't, people still form opinions about you. And so, you know, the old saying is black don't crack. But I'm here to tell you, black don't crack, but we sure will break.
Wow. Whoa. Ha.
Yeah.
Whoa. Pause. Referee want a timeout. Wait. Say, y'all, I'm say
black don't crack. And we look good now. We, you know, some of us are 40, 50, 60, 70 years old, and we still look like we're in our 20s. But it goes back to, like I said, what do we look like on the inside? And so black don't crack, but it will break.
Good gracious. That, ooh, okay. You said something. You said something. You've been saying some things. You hitting some things over the head, and I believe a lot of times that therapy is not really ruled out of people's minds.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
My insurance man said something. That's on my paper.
What? Say it.
We need a pastor, and he said psychiatrist, but psychiatrist, therapist, yes, absolutely. And your pastor needs a therapist, because y'all come and dump all your stuff on him.
Come on.
Yeah. Yes, it's okay to have a pastor and a therapist. It's needed. It's not just okay, it's needed. Yeah. And we can think of 1,000,001 reasons of why we can't go to therapy. But if your doctor tells you have diabetes, hypertension, cholesterol issues, you want to know, what can I do to fix that? Whether it's medication, it's your diet, it's exercise, all those things. But we want to ignore our mental health because we're going to push through, or it's not what it is, or, well, it's so-and-so's issue, but it's not mine. We can always see everything in other people, but we can't. That's why I always tell people, when you come, my clients, when they come to me, yes, I need you to tell me the truth. I need you to be authentic, and I need you to be genuine and transparent. But before you can do that with me, you have to do it with yourself. Because if you go to the doctor and you tell your doctor, I have a cold, but you have cancer, he's going to treat that cold and you're going to leave with cancer. So if you come to me and you tell me, well, I'm having relationship issues, but there's something way deeper than that, then I'm going to treat those relationship issues. And 9 times out of 10, the relationship issues are not going to be resolved, because the issue isn't the relationship. It's the past traumas, both with the person who's in counseling and the other person, the spouse or the significant other. And those traumas are coming together, and neither of the people have healed.
Pastor, I hope we can do a part 2. There is no way in the world that I'm really loving this, because I love it, doctor, because you're giving us so much information right now. But part 2 of this is the family, as we look at the group chat, they're actually almost counseling themselves. They're going through therapy with this chat that they're even coming in. They're saying certain things as probably therapeutic to them as they talk about it more. Like the chat is on fire where I can't even keep up with it of what people are saying, because I believe this is good. This is really good. We're definitely gonna do a part 2. I just got the okay that we're gonna have to set up another part 2. But I want us to go back. Girl, you talking good. You talking good. One of the things that I know in my personal life, I'm gonna be transparent. My wife and I brought to my wife probably about a year ago that I wanted her at all times, in all areas of her life, I want me to always be a safe space, a safe place, a safe space. Now I deal with, when I come home, it's, it's girls and my family's there, but I also want to have that safe space because my wife likes to talk. I don't know about you all in the chat. I don't know if the ladies at the house like to talk a whole lot when they get home, but my wife likes to talk a little bit. So I give me a little 10-minute time frame of me just getting a little woosah before she comes in. And at that point, it's time now to create a safe space for her. Now, I really want you to talk about this, because this is so important, because the church is good at loving on each other at church, but we don't talk at home. There's not a lot of conversations going on at home because people are not safe. And it doesn't have to be I feel nervous. It can just be this person may go off. This person has a quick temper. This person don't feel like talking. This person don't like talking. I want us to talk more about that, because I do believe that therapy causes us, or not really causes us, it needs a safe space. It needs a place where you're able to be vulnerable. And like you said, no judgment. Nobody is looking at you all weird. People can look at you the way Jesus looked at you and said, okay, all right. And so can you really talk about just having a safe space? Because I think this is where some of us struggle with in times. Maybe you're the person that needs a safe space, and maybe you're the person that people come to you to be a safe space. And I think both are needed, to be honest with you. I'm quiet. No more talk. Please expound on that for me, please.
So there are a couple things that I heard there. So one, you said that your wife, and this triggered something when you said it. So this is no reflection on your wife. Love your wife. You said your wife is a talker, right? And so I'm a talker. In school I was moved every place but I'm a talker. Whoever you put me by, I talk to the wall. And so I always thought that because I like to talk, that I was a great communicator. We're not the same. And sometimes that's the issue. You said that you want to be able to create a safe space, and you want to be able to talk to each other. But for a lot of different reasons, people may feel in their homes that they can't communicate, one, because they don't know how. A lot of us talk and have a lot of lip service, but we don't know how to communicate.
Stop, please. Stop. Y'all, can we take a commercial break and put in the chat? Are you talking or are you communicating?
They're not
this is what I'm getting. Oh, wow. We are talking but not communicating. I'm done.
Because here's the thing. So, I took 5 years of Spanish, and I probably know one word for each year. But if there was someone on here and they came and they spoke Spanish fluently, they're talking to me, right? I have no idea what they're saying.
They're not communicating.
We're not communicating.
Gosh.
So what's missing? Why are we not communicating? The lack of understanding.
Wow.
Yeah, the lack of understanding.
Okay. I don't really know where to go from here. Because there's so many. So
And some people believe if I say it louder, that'll make you understand. No.
Oh, oh.
No.
So the tone don't change the understanding.
No.
Whether I'm loud or whether I'm soft spoken, the tone doesn't change the
But it can
communication.
communicate something differently. Your tone and your volume can communicate something differently. You know, so I'll just say a person. It's not a client though, but I'll say a person. They said that when they're communicating with their daughter and they're, we'll say, passionate about what they're speaking about, and the volume and the tone gets a little high, they want their daughter to listen to what they're saying and not how they say it. You follow?
Mm-hmm.
But when hubby comes home and he says, "How was your day?" and she says, "Oh, it was fine," she wants him to listen at how she said it and not what she said. And
Wow.
because this is the church network, I won't tell you what I told her, but I said, everybody confused in your house. Because, you know, there are different rules for everybody, but you're not, guess what, communicating those rules. Let's have some consistency. Mean what you say what you mean. Not let's. And so this is the thing that we like to do in relationships. We want to play guessing games. You want people to figure out stuff. No, just talk and say what you want and what you need. Be transparent, be vulnerable. And so a thing that you said that sometimes people don't create the safe space. People fly off the handle. Or if, you know, you come and you're trying to talk about your day and you act like you don't want to really hear about it, then guess what? I'm going to talk to somebody else that do want to hear about it.
Wow.
Sometimes that creates other issues.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
So, but now here's the other part. You know, as an educator, as a counselor, as a pastor, anything that requires you to kind of give of yourself, you have to make sure that you set boundaries. Because see, I've gone to the Waffle House before, and I don't know if I wear that I'm a therapist on my forehead or whatever. And I'll go to Waffle House and say, "Oh, this is my day out. I don't care about my problems. I don't care about anybody else's problem." And the server comes and tell me all their problems. I'm like, wait a minute. So you've got to have boundaries, and then the people in your life have to be able to respect those boundaries. So whereas, you know, you, Keon, you said your wife loves to talk, and then you're an educator. So you're talking to people all day and you're hearing people's problems all day. It's not that you may not want to hear your wife's problems. You might not just want to hear them right when you get into the house. You know, you may need 30 minutes to kind of, you know, gather yourself, because you're leaving from being an educator, a nurse, a social worker, and everything else. So now you got to come home and be dad and be husband. And those are some important roles. So you have to create the boundaries. And then one of my clients said, "Well, you told me to create the boundaries, but you didn't tell me to communicate to people." I said, "Well, how are they going to know your boundaries? You don't communicate it to them." So you've got to create them, then communicate it. And then that other person in your life, and not just a significant other people, and parents are included. Now that's another show for another day. But you have to respect people's boundaries. And in the African American community, we like to say sometimes, "Well, you're being smart, or you're being sassy." No, it's called creating boundaries.
Wow. Wow.
Now that's another show.
But when you say creating boundaries, I think, why is that so important to create boundaries? Because when it comes to, we hear a lot of times, you know, no is a complete sentence, and we think, you know, I'm just gonna say no because I want to create a boundary. I want everyone to understand, you know, what is actually creating a boundary for your life, because I believe in my own personal life, creating boundaries have really saved my life, and actually have caused a lot of things to happen because I've created those boundaries. So can you really talk more about those boundaries? Because maybe our mental health is going haywire because we don't have any boundaries up. But I don't know if everybody understands what a boundary is. So can you just, tell us what a boundary is and expound on that a little bit, please?
Yes.
This is
Boundaries is probably the second most important B word in your life. First one's probably your Bible, and the second one's gonna be boundary.
Wow, stop right there. Bible and boundaries. Bible and boundaries. We need a series on it. Come on, Pastor. Bible and boundaries.
Invite me on that Sunday. I like that.
I
Bible
like
and
it.
boundaries.
Hashtag right now, Bibles and boundaries. Come on, wait a minute, doctor, because that right there, we need to put that in the chat. Bibles and boundaries. Come on, y'all. Come on, family. Where you at? Bibles and boundaries. This is good. Okay. All right. Let keep going. The Bible is the number one thing, but boundaries is the second thing. That is so good. That's good.
So
That's good.
The thing is, a lot of times, people overextend themselves, and you're trying to figure out how can you. So, okay, well, I'll just be transparent since I told y'all to be transparent. Mm-hmm. So you texted me early in the week, and you're like, "Hey, can we do a kind of a test run?" And I was like, I got way too much going on. It just couldn't fit it in my space. And I literally had a session scheduled right before coming on here. Mm-hmm. It shot my anxiety through the roof because my day started this morning at 8. Don't tell me about it. It's supposed to start at 7, but it started at 8. And so it's, graduation, and then trying to do things in between the first graduation, then going to the second graduation, and then, going to a session, and then trying to, just because you have to kind of be in a certain space to do, your therapy sessions, and then make this transition, to come here. And I was like, this is really just stressing me out. Mm-hmm. And so I don't like to reschedule clients, but if I can't give you my best, I'm going to reschedule you. And I could not give the person before this session my best because it literally would have been 6:25 getting off that session and coming on here 6:30. It wasn't going to work.
Well, I sure thank you.
Absolutely.
Praise the Lord. Thank you.
So setting boundaries, which I should have done before, but that's neither here nor there. I'm a work in progress. The Lord's still working on me. But setting boundaries, like you said, can save your life, because a lot of people are dealing with anxiety and depression because they didn't set boundaries. And I paused there for a reason. Yes. Okay. Wow. The other thing is people feel like they owe an explanation when you set a boundary. But the only explanation is that we teach people how to treat us. So,
you're going too fast.
I know. So if I say, Keon, can I borrow $20? And you give it to me, guess what? I'm probably going to come back to you and ask for $20 again. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But if I go to Pastor Lee, is it Lee Walker? Lee Walker. Mm-hmm, I will rename people, but Pastor Lee Walker. And I say, can I borrow $20? And he said, let's talk about, this is a true story. Well, my pastor was my daddy, but he said, let's sit down and go through your budget. I said, you in my business. So the difference is I asked Keon and he just gave it to me. I went to Pastor Walker and he wanted to give me a sermon on how I should budget better and financial planning and all that. So guess what? I'm probably not going to go back to Pastor Walker, which he's probably not upset about that. Right? So my point is that when we make it easy and convenient to people, they're going to come back to us every time. And then now we have resentment and anger and frustration because this person keeps coming back to us. But you're mad with the wrong person. Wow. You're mad with the person that keeps coming back. Well, they just do what they're supposed to do, which is use people. We have to look at ourselves and say, well, what have I communicated to them through my behavior? And my behavior, and I may say no one time. I may say no, but then if I give it to you, you don't care what I say. You're going by my actions. So I'm going to keep coming back to Coach Keon. Can I borrow $20? And the other part I want to say about that is a lot of times that people will say, well, I just want to help people. Sometimes helping people, it doesn't require action. Helping people, sometimes removing an action, Because one thing about it is, if our back is against the wall, this is who we are as a people. If our back is against the wall, we'll figure it out. And if people keep bailing you out, then that person becomes codependent. But if we set a boundary, then, you know, the other person might not be happy initially, but then now they figured out how to save money or whatever the issue is. Because here's the thing, sometimes it might be drugs. And so, you know, the person comes to you and say, you know, hey, can I have some, you know, some money for whatever? And, you know, and so I've heard families say, well, I give them the money because I don't want them to go out and rob anybody. But you're enabling. Sometimes helping means setting a boundary. Sometimes helping means doing nothing.
You started this sermon off, this sermon. Now you've had 20 sermons in this span of 45 minutes already, but your 20th sermon, you started off by saying that depression is probably because you're not creating any boundaries for yourself. Doctor, I'm I'm full right now, and I don't even know what to say. It's a lot of things that you said. So in essence, when you create boundaries for yourself, you don't owe anybody an explanation. You're creating these boundaries for you, for freedom in a sense. And also it's okay to say no to certain things that is not in the span of, like you said, you can't give your best. And how many times, you all, have we said, our mouth said yes, but our heart said no? And whenever our mouth has said yes and our heart has said no, we do it grudgingly.
Or you say no, but you do it anyway. So guess what? I'm going to come back to you because I know you're going to say no, but you don't really mean it. Or if you say no, if I keep nudging, you'll eventually say yes.
And we expect, and that's another thing too. A lot of our mental health comes from too. We want people. Is there a certain time where nonverbal communication should be okay? And what I mean by that is, and come on, I know I'm not the only one, y'all. I'm just telling on myself right now. But you can be with somebody for so long that is it right for us to want them to know what we're thinking because they've been with us so long? Am I making sense here?
Yes, you are. And so that kind of goes back to what I said. That's sometimes the expectation in relationships. So you want the person to know, but people aren't mind readers. And then the thing about it is, we can look out the same window and see two different things, right? So you can be communicating one thing and you feel like you're saying it loud and clear with your body language, with your facial expressions and all of that. And that person may not be getting it. So it goes back to what I said, communicating, talking, and saying what you need or you don't need, and then checking for understanding.
Yeah.
But then on the flip side, you have to be able to be on the other side to be able to receive and respect that.
Okay.
So yeah, we don't have time to play mind games, and save that for charades and what's the other game? And all that. Say what you need. Say what you need. Say what you want.
This is so good because it doesn't matter that just lets us know, especially for those, you have people in relationships. Well, we've been together 30 years. You should know me by now. No,
you're not the same person.
And
if you are, there's a problem.
Say it again. You got to communicate because you're not the same person.
Yes. And then the other part, you said we want people to guess what we're thinking. But let's look at that. Do you have a problem communicating? Is that why, is there a fear of some sort or insecurity that lies where you can't just say whatever it is you want to communicate, that you want the person to um, know what you're thinking or how you're feeling? I tell people all the time, people can't tell you how to feel.
Hmm. Hmm. Are
Yeah.
people responsible for how you feel?
You're responsible. So here's the thing. People can say, things, and they can say things to hurt your feelings or whatever, but it's up to you what you allow, how you perceive, and how you allow it to impact you in your life. You know, um, people can't make you feel any type of way because you're not a puppet.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Now
Wow.
that doesn't mean people can't say hurtful things. However, you have to have control over how you perceive that and what you do with it.
Okay. All right. I I know you had a busy day. We gotta stop. I can do. Lord, I wish I could do. Okay. You all, and I forgot I'm on the new home Providence. I mean, at the new home. I'm in the Providence Center, but I'm at the new. I'm in the new home stream here, so I got to make sure that. And all of this, you all. I know if some of y'all thought we got off task, no, this is still mental health. This is still about mental health. Um, I want to stop right here. Would you all like a part two? Say yes. Say yes. Well,
See,
I know
that's how
you all
you got
will.
me. See,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah, go
tell
ahead and
you
say
what
yes.
to
Yeah, go ahead and say. I mean, I'm not going to tell you all what to say, but I'm communicating to you all that this is what needed for our church. Um, and at this time, yeah, okay, so yeah, we're throwing some yeses in the chat, like yeah, we're I mean yes, I truly believe that we're gonna get Dr. Tan back in here so she can oh it's so much y'all I'm like I don't even know if y'all can see my paper. I just been writing. That's all I just been writing. Dr. Tan, this has been so good. This has been I don't know what else I can. Yeah, Pastor's already said it's already done. We're going to get this in the making here again.
And I'm gonna make it happen. Anytime the church wants to talk about mental health,
I love it.
I'm running
I
because
love it.
there are a lot of um um people. Wait a minute, let me come back because then you're gonna say I can't come back. Let me not say that. There are
No,
a
no,
lot
you come back. Come on.
there are a lot of people who don't encourage this in their churches, because they want um they want their followers to come to them
Wow.
and do
Wow.
pastoral counseling. Um, and you should go for pastoral counseling, but our training is very different. Now, the other part to that is too, and see, I'm sorry, I'm going on another tangent, but here's the thing: people want to go to the pastor and dump their stuff on the pastor, right? And then you're sitting in church the next Sunday night. Is he gonna talk about what I told him? In the next sermon, and some pastors do.
Mm-hmm.
And so it creates that distrust, which is another challenge, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I always tell my clients, and I'm happy to say that all of my clients look just like me. That's who I want anyway. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna talk to whoever come, but I want my people come. And so I saw that earlier. I wrote that down. I think Maurice mentioned that other races will go to therapy. And so here's the thing, we get upset because little Jimmy goes and shoot up the movie theater, and then they say that he has a mental health issue. But when Ray Ray does something, they call him a thug. And so we know that there's a whole host of reasons why that happens. But the other part to that is little Jimmy been in counseling since he was 3 years old. And Ray Ray, everybody just want to say that, well, Ray Ray just was acting out. Well, yeah, but there may be some mental health issues that are associated with that too.
Wow.
So we've got to do better with going to therapy because we don't have life figured out. And someone else also mentioned what happens in our house stays in our house. Baby, that's toxic. You know, and a
Mm.
lot of parents have said that over the years, you know, but you take this stuff out the house and talk to somebody.
Y'all, one of my favorite songs growing up is "Long as I Got King Jesus, I Don't Need Nobody Else." We may not sing that one for a while, and I mean, we understand the premise of what they're trying to say, but let's not shout over what we need to be focusing on.
King Jesus put some people in place to do some things in your life too, though.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And if we go back to scripture, I think there's somewhere in scripture it talks about, how we can talk to each other. I think that's in James, if I'm not mistaken. I may be wrong, but my Bible readers is somewhere in James where you talk to each other about your sins and get those things out. So this I want us to really know that we can do this, and we have some links, you all. We do have some links, but I was going to do a Q&A, but it's gotten late in the evening, and the sun has gone down. And the sun is going down. The sun has gone down. I'm gonna put this first link up here, you all. This is Dr. Elmore's her website. Or yeah, that's her website. It's in the corner right there. Can y'all see it? I hope I'm able to. Can you see it over there in the corner, Doctor?
Yes.
The QR code. That's one of the links right there. I'm gonna see if. Oh, my bad. So if you all need to scan that one, scan that link. I have 3 more links. There's therapy for. There's psychology today. There's a link that I'm gonna throw up here as well. So I'm gonna have it on here for about 30 seconds here, you all. So 30 seconds here, psychology today.
And this is if you're looking for a therapist.
Awesome.
And your therapist must be, if you live in the state of Alabama, must be licensed in Alabama or whatever state you live in.
Thank you for those who are scanning that QR code. There are people that are scanning the QR code, which is great, which is absolutely excellent. Now, this other one, you all, these other 2, one is called therapy for Black men and therapy for Black women. And I implore upon you, take hold of this one. This one is therapy for Black men. Therapy for Black men. We try to walk around, strong, but Superman was actually Clark Kent.
And if you want to test your strength, go to the gym, not with your mental health.
Stop throwing bars. If you want to test your strength, go to the gym, not with your mental health. Good gracious. You know what? I'm going to give you credit on that. That's my Facebook post tomorrow morning.
Come on.
If you whoa, that is good. So that's therapy for Black men. Therapy for Black men. So scan that QR code on that one. And I'm about to put up here therapy for Black women. That's the therapy for Black women.
And it's going to come up therapy for Black girls, but that's the correct.
Okay. Black strength. To the gym and not with your mental health. Man. Dr. Tan, I can't thank you enough. And this is not a goodbye. This is a see you later, because after this, I can truly say that I think our church can be whole. And this is one of the things that I believe Pastor has a vision for, not just the spiritual side, but holistically, the physical side and the mental side of our lives. All of those need to be talked about. All of those things need to be aware of, because I think sometimes we'll look at our spiritual and that's just going to complete everything. And that's not true. There are certain areas of our lives that need this. And I cannot thank you enough. I can't thank you enough. And I really appreciate you so much. Do you have any other words that you want to give? I don't want you giving too much because I needed a part two. We need a part two. I want you to, I definitely want you to come back. But do you have any other things that you would like to say, Dr. Tandrea? She's on Facebook, Instagram, you're in any other platform, but
those are the two that I.
Okay, so please look her up. You all look her up right now. Please go to her Facebook page, add her as a friend, request her as a friend, and
understand there is a Dr. T. Sharon, and there's a Tan, and
yeah, it sure is. T. Sharon, that's her name. Yep, sure is.
My parting words would probably be go to therapy. If you're trying to figure out if you need to go to therapy or if therapy is right for you, if you're asking a question, then yes. And the third thing is understanding that it's okay not to be okay.
Love it.
But it's not okay to stay there.
Whoa. Gosh. Why you keep doing that? Say that again. Say that again,
okay,
please.
To not be okay. But it's not okay to stay there.
It's okay to not be okay.
In the words of my good buddy, Dr. Holmes, get well soon.
Okay. To stay there. Get well soon. Man, that takes on a whole different meaning now.
Yeah.
Gosh. You all, can you all just put some hearts on the screen, please, for Dr. Tan? Let me take this off so I can see these hearts here. I just want to see that you all have loved everything. They have thanked you tremendously. I'm actually, and not because of this, but thank you for even motivating me even more. But before this has even happened, I've already told my wife I'm going to be going through counseling myself.
Love it.
And I'm really excited about it. For me, saying it out loud now, it feels freeing. I mean, it feels, it feels like, hey, because it used to be hush. It's something that you don't say. And there's nothing embarrassing about saying this. I think there's help. If I'm in a pool and can't swim, I'm not going to be looking up like, well,
they'll figure it out.
Help.
Yeah.
So I pray that is this has been great. I hope you all have really gathered some information, and take care of your mental health. You all get some counseling, get some talking to friends. Cannot be your only counseling.
Oh, that's yeah.
Okay, my bad. Okay, okay, all right. Doggone it. Okay, we're done. Pastor, I don't know how you let may the Lord watch between me and thee while we have one from another. I don't know how we do it, but hey, thank you all. Love you, Elmore. Thank you so much, girl. Thank you. And we're gonna do a part 2 coming soon. We'll talk about it more. I know your schedule's busy, but we're gonna get a part 2 in here. Thank you all, New Home, for allowing me to be your host for this time here. Thank you all. Thank you, Walker, for the vision. We thank you, Pastor, for the vision. We're going to get ourselves well. And once again, get well soon, you all. Have a good one. I will see you all, hopefully, probably Sunday. If y'all 8 o'clock. If not, I'll see you all in next week. All right. Y'all have a good one. Thank you once again. Thank you. Have a good one. Thank you, Dr. Elmore.
Thank you. Thank you all for having me.
Thank you, girl. I appreciate you. Now, let me see how Pastor does it here. He has a way of doing this here. Okay, let's see.